I'm at the point in my life where I just have no capacity for nonsense, for foolishness. I just don't have the tolerance for anything negative. And when you have been through the amount of trauma and seen the darkness that I've seen, all you want is positivity, light, life, and love. And anything that doesn't reflect that, it's just, you no longer have the capacity for it. It's partially a good thing, but people who are very empathic, empathetic, those who are sensitive to the people around them, and those who are sensitive to their environment, we cannot just participate in anything. You don't have the capacity or energy for it, because whether people realize it or not, people, places, and things can suck the life out of you, can pull from your energy. And when people are not aligned with God, which they also call a higher power, when you're not aligned with God, you will drain people because you're operating in a darker energy. And people who are operating in light, life, and love, the God frequency, the God energy, all of this stuff comes from God, okay? Anything positive, light, life, love is all God. And when you are tapped in with that frequency, when you are aligned with God, not perfect, people get that twisted. It's not about being perfect. It's about you're in alignment. You're on that path. You cannot be around people who are out of alignment with God. They will drain you. They will destroy you because they're operating from the powers of darkness. Whether they realize it or not, it doesn't matter what their face looks like. Doesn't matter if they do kind things. Behind that is a dark motivation. And remember, the enemy only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And if someone is not in alignment with God, it's either they're aligned with God or they're aligned with the enemy. It's plain and simple. There's no in-betweens. And anyone can be a force of light and a force of darkness. It's only two different powers and different forces and different rulers. And you can't serve two masters. So you're either operating from one frequency or the other. And when you're in alignment with God, you cannot be around people like that. You will feel drained. You will feel sick physically. You will feel mentally ill, physically ill, spiritually ill. That's just the reality. When you start to come up higher, you elevate. I'm talking about spiritually. Then everything else elevates. Because your mind is in the right place. Your heart is in the right place. Your spirit is in the right place. When you're in alignment with God, everything else has to align with that. But then you also have these powers of darkness that is trying to resist and come against you and create opposition. And it comes in a form of people who seem like nice people. Because remember, Satan did not come to Eve in a way that was scary or the way that was obvious. That's how he was able to deceive her. And that's the problem, is that we're not able to recognize. If Eve was able to be deceived, so can you, so can we. So it's just about having discernment and recognizing that you don't need anything. Because when you feel like you have a need and you don't go to God for the need, then you will go to people. And you will depend on people. And God uses people, but he doesn't want you to have a dependency. There's a difference. Because then when you depend on him, you trust how he wants to do it and who he wants to use. Because when the enemy gets people, it's because they think they have something, that they think they're lacking something. That's how he was able to deceive Eve, is because she thought she was lacking something. She had everything she needed. Adam and Eve had everything they needed. But the moment they felt like, there's something that I'm not able to get, that I'm missing, that I'm lacking, that's where the door was open. And that's how the deception happened. Because a lot of times we get into things, we're like, how did I get here? It's because the door was open through something that we thought we needed. It all has to do with desires and needs, even wants. But when we have God, we have everything we need. That means he is our source of everything, and he uses who he chooses to use. And that's where the trust comes in at. So you can't be in just any environment. You can't just be entangled, connected to anybody, because it can ultimately destroy you. The Bible says that there's a way that seems right. In the end, it can lead to death. Before it used to say destruction, but either way, it's pretty much the same thing. So we have to be careful who we let in and where we allow ourselves to be, based off of our desires, our wants, and our needs. Because that's how it happens. It all starts with that. Then the door is open. So it goes back to discernment. Having discernment and really allowing yourself to be led by God. Because it's not God's will for us to be drained and exhausted, because we have all of these people and things pulling energy from us. It's all energy. We are energy. And God created us that way. So when we hear these terms, the world doesn't own those terms. It comes from God. He is the creator. And so if we don't believe that it's that way, then we will be deceived. You have to understand what's happening. And it's all some sort of energy being pulled. That's how people become drained. And that's how people become ill. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. It starts with a lack, or you think that you're lacking something. Then you open a door. Then you go somewhere. Then you do something. Then you connect yourself with or to things and people. And then that's how the enemy comes in. How else does it happen? It all starts with that. That's the beginning of deception. And then that's the end. The end of deception is destruction. And so these are the times where we really have to use our discernment. Because the Bible even says if it were possible for the very elect to be deceived, then we would. God doesn't want us to be deceived. All we need is him. And we trust in him for how and who he wants to use to provide us with what we need. We do need people, but we need who God chooses to use. Just like he used a person, he came in the form of flesh. And anybody he uses, that literally can make or break your life. That can make your life. And whoever the enemy chooses, or who you choose to allow the enemy to use, can destroy your life. Anybody who is experiencing any type of destruction in their life, you can point it to a person that they've allowed in their life, or multiple people. And it's not a blame game. It's about recognizing, because at the end of the day, we have to choose and we make the decision. So choose wisely and use discernment.